Hey guys, Darth Glork here, back with part 1 of our brand new side game. We will be playing through Highway Blossom's Next Exit. So, flashback, a long while ago now, we played through Highway Blossoms, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was the second or third time I had played through it for my channel by the time we did it on the channel. Now, last year, Highway Blossoms released a DLC called Next Exit. They announced it they announced it a long ways before its release, obviously, and I was pumped. I was so excited for its release. Well, then it kind of came and then kind of went, and it's been out since I think last year, and I never played it. I never bought it, never played it. Well, this week it was on sale, and I finally bit the bullet, and I finally did it. And so this will be a blind playthrough, 100% blind. The only thing I've seen is I read the little synopsis about basically what it's about, and then I watched their trailer on their Steam page. And otherwise, that's it. So this is obviously Highway Blossom's Next Exit. So you obviously reach it from the you can play it in the extras of the main game menu. And then, obviously, DLC content. And there it is. I will almost certainly just include this Next Exit playthrough in the Highway Blossoms playlist. I will rename the playlist, probably. I don't know. I'm debating between two different titles on what to call the playlist. I probably would have gone with one of them. So anyway, I hope you guys are excited. I am really excited and a little bit nervous because I don't do a lot of blind playthroughs on my channel, but I want to start doing more of them, and so we're finally jumping into this. So 100% blind, let's do it. I do have a Snapple, kiwi strawberry Snapple specifically, in front of me today. So I will be drinking because I'll be doing a lot of reading, and So before we jump into it, if you want to hear the real fact, number 125. Walruses are true party animals. They can go without sleep for 84 hours. Now you know. Strawberry. There's kiwi strawberry. Delicious. Alright, are you guys ready? I'm so excited. Let's freaking do it. Highway Blossom's Next Exit takes place approximately 1 month after the events of the main game. Obviously, it's highly recommended you play through the game in its entirety before continuing on to the DLC, obviously. If you have not watched my playthrough of Highway Blossoms that I did a couple years ago, whatever it was now, I highly recommend watching it. I imagine this will make so little sense, and if nothing else, it'll have very little impact on you if you have not seen that. So if you've played it or if you've seen it, we're good. Let's just jump into it. And I highly recommend you watch my playthrough because I'm obviously selfish that way. Anyway, I understand. Let's go to Las Vegas. I'm so excited. Let's do it. Let's freaking do it, man. I'm so nervous.
Hang in there, babe. We're almost inside.
Will you just relax? I'm not dying. Ow! Why would you touch me there?
I'm so sorry. I think I drove some of the needles deeper. Maybe if I just use my fingernails.
Just unlock the door, Marina.
Between gritted teeth, I try to push the sharp pain far out of my mind and give a reassuring smile. I'm already grinning like an idiot because I'm so excited and so nervous. Sorry. See, it's fine. I'm not mad, or at least I won't be forever.
Right.
Oh, so that was something else I have to remember to do. So, in Highway Blossoms, obviously, our main characters are voiced. So, I mean, not just the main characters, but the characters have voices. It's voice acted. So, what I have to remember to do is, out of habit, in every visual novel I do, and on the channel, it's noticeable, is I will obviously narrate the stuff that's not voiced, but I will click ahead before I'm finished talking, because I already read ahead, and I already know what they're going to say. So, I have to make sure that I have to finish the sentence before the next slide. Like, I have to finish saying it before I click on it, otherwise there's overlap. So, I will try to do that. I forgot that was a thing, but in voice-acted stuff, where the characters are voice-acted, that's how you have to do it. Or at least I do on my channel. So, sorry about that. I will try to make sure to do that. It's a old habit to, hard habit to break. With a steady, ever-present whine, Marina fumbles with the motorhome keys. She jams one into the lock and fumbles that one too. After 4 clicks, it finally unlatches. I kick it the rest of the way open. It bounces against the wall, but I'm already sprawled out on the couch by the time the momentum sends it swinging back.
Just stay right there. Don't move a muscle.
Consider me glue.
It's like, I have so many questions. What's happened? She launches herself. There she went. At the nearby cabinets and starts chucking bags of chips and coffee filters onto the counter.
First aid kit. First aid kit. First aid kit.
She says it over and over as if repeating it will increase its chances of it showing up.
Forget it. Just grab the duct tape.
But why? We need the tweezers.
I squirm on the couch. My arm rubs against the fabric. Dozens of tiny razors twist just beneath the surface. Pain xylophones up my forearm. Sorry.
Just get the stupid tape.
Sorry.
Before I can tell her to do something more productive than be sorry, she's already digging through the drawer. Within seconds, Marina is sitting by my side, shakily holding a roll of duct tape and a pair of safety scissors like a fresh-faced recruit being tossed into battle.
I'm gonna guide you through this, okay?
She nods multiple times. After the 5th one, I place my hand on her cheek and hold her head in place.
Okay?
Okay.
She tries to give another nod, but my hand keeps her from doing it.
Tear off a strip of tape.
My composure is cracking, as is my voice, but I try to keep the pain buried. Marina snips off 3 strips worth of tape. The cut is diagonal, probably to make the next strip easier. Grimacing, I extend my forearm. My entire garden of cactus needles poke out from it. Oh, I've been through this, dude. When I was like 12 or 13, I went hiking with my Boy Scouts that I was in at the time, and I was hiking up this very steep cliff, and there was this giant rock in the way. So I reached the rock for leverage because I was on a very steep slope, so I was like crawling my way up the slope, and I reached behind this rock and there was a cactus behind it, and so I got like like 40 needles in both hands as I was hiking, and that was like, yeah, I've been through this. It really hurts. It's unfortunate. Grimacing, I extend my forearm. An entire garden of cactus needles poke out from it.
Slap it on. Rip it off at the count of 3.
Well, this is a bold strategy. Marina winces as I say it, nails on chalkboard, I guess, or needles on flesh. Working past it, she high-fives it into my forearm with a hard smack. It feels like the needles are biting at my muscles, all bunched together like hay bales under the tape. I let out a pained grunt. Marina scrambles back.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
Do you want me to do it myself?
Fine. Just don't yell at me if it hurts.
She takes in a soothing breath. Exhales. Whoop. Sorry, I forgot you can use the scroll wheel to go back to a previous thing. Then it tears the tape off my skin like wrapping paper.
What happened to 3?
I counted in my head.
My arm throbs in unison with my heartbeat. A patch of red glowing skin stripes through it like an unfortunate sunburn. It looks naked when surrounded by briar fields of cactus needles.
This is all my fault.
Marina whimpers as she gazes at my arm, stroking her fingers over the pulsing mark. A quiet guilt dims her sunshiny face that I love so much. I'd like to say that it's unnatural, that something about it just doesn't suit her chipmunk cheeks, but that would be a bit of a fib. The truth is, I've gotten more used to it than I'm comfortable with. The way she purses her lips into such a deep frown that her dimples turn upside down. The way she lets messy strands of her hair drift in front of her eyes as she stares at nothing. Yeah, I'm familiar, and I hate it. This is what that temper of yours does to her. You have to work on that. You need to be better. For her sake and yours.
Don't beat yourself up too much.
With my other hand, my good one, I caress her cheek and turn her towards me.
Not like you did it on purpose, right?
I gave her another smile, one I don't have to force.
But aren't you mad I pushed you into a cactus?
What kind of freak gets pissed at their girlfriend for trying to give them a hug? You just overshot your goal is all. Besides, I'm a dumbass for wearing short sleeves to Saguaro National Park of all places.
Maybe next time you won't roll your eyes when I tell you to wear that cute teddy bear sweatshirt I got for you.
That mistake is made of wool. We're in the desert.
It's made of cotton and is extremely breathable, Smarty Pants.
You're not the one that has to wear it.
But I am the one who gets to see you in it, and I think that counts for everything.
Absolutely. I so agree.
It counts for my suffering, at least.
She glares at me for a couple of seconds, but in classic Marina fashion, she can't hold it for more than a 3 count before the facade starts to break. Air puffs out from her nose, and before I know it, she's descended into a hearty giggle. The joke wasn't that funny, and the exchange really wasn't any different from our usual banter, but seeing her laugh makes me want to copy her, claim some of that genuine innocence and simplicity for myself. And so I do. And we laughed together, while sitting on this beat-up old couch in the stuffy motorhome, the only real home I've ever known. Spending this last month with her has made me certain of that. I slide my hand in the back of her hand, clutching a limp handful of hair and letting it slick through my fingers. We clunk our foreheads together and snuggle like muskrats.
If it means getting more of your hugs, you can push me into 1,000, Cactus.
Ugh, we really need to work on your flirting.
She groans, but says the entire thing with a grin. The heat of her breath warms my entire face like a blanket. Her eyes drift down to my inflated arm. The smile is still there, but the warmth has been sucked out of it.
Hey, what did I say? It's fine. Just be more careful next time, kiddo.
Now that smile is completely gone. Her shoulders slump down as she preps the next piece of tape.
If you say so.
What an angel. Can't even talk the guilt out of her, it's just how she is.
1, 2, 3.
This time, she actually counted out loud, stripping it off with all the force of a power lifter. Gripping the armrest, I do my best to make sure my brave face doesn't shatter. I'll have to pick up some candy at the next gas station to make it up to her. That always seems to help. And so, strip by strip, she tears the needles out of me. Each time, my teeth shave a tiny bit of each other off from all the grinding, and next time she doesn't say a word, working with silent focus and diligence. When it's all said and done, my arm is numb and as swollen as a raisin. I can't even feel the hot air as it squeezes the sweat out of the rectangles now engraved in my skin.
We might be rich now, but I'll take old-fashioned spit and dirt over a surprise yard bill any day.
That's right. I look at the convulsing appendage coming out of my body, only slightly certain that it's still my arm.
Even if this does really suck. Oh, Christ, this hurts.
My words seem to fly right by Marina. She's staring at her lap, and it may as well be the void of a deep space.
Sorry, Space Cadet. You should take some pain helpers. It's in the medicine cabinet, I think.
Not a bad idea. I gotta do some washing up anyway.
I plant a quick peck on her forehead and start for the bathroom. When I glance back, she's staring at her lap again, upside down dimples, messy hair. I stop at the sliding door.
Everything good?
She perks right up and shoots me with an injection of smile from concentrate.
Super!
I shoot her a smile back.
Good to hear. I love you.
Love you more.
That's so sweet. With a departing wave, I slide the door shut behind me. I don't know, man. Read from the perspective. I feel like I want to read from Marina's perspective. Because I get Amber's head, you know. Also, love the art right here. Love the art design of, like, her in, like, this orangey red color. And then her in this green, yellowish color. For me, I think this is orange and this is green. But keep in mind, I'm colorblind. Or, to be honest, this might be the color amber. It just occurred to me that's probably exactly what that is. Anyway, I'm thinking Marina. Which means we're going to have to play this more than once at some point. I don't know if we'll do it on my channel, but I'm saying that I might have to go back later on and switch perspectives. But I think we'll read from Marina's perspective. Love the sound of the old tape player clicking, by the way. Love that a lot. 10 out of 10. Everything is not good. I bury my face in one of the couch cushions and scream. Kiddo, is that really all I am? Still? It's only been a month, so sometimes I get insecure about what I'm allowed or not allowed to get upset over, but this is one thing that definitely does the trick. So she doesn't like being called kiddo. Well, Amber only got that from her grandpa. Like, I think it's a term of affection, calling someone kiddo. Like, I don't think she actually sees her that way. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like I'm stupid. That then when I want to get upset about it, I feel like that might actually be the case. I'm afraid to tell her, afraid she'll get angry, yell at me, leave me on the side of the road just like she found me. She probably wouldn't do it now, things have been better for her. She's not as sad about her grandpa's before, but the thought that she might pick up and leave again like she did in Palm Springs is always there. Oh god, that super horrible, painful, yelling, yell fight we had back in the original game. Oh, my heart can't take it. My biggest fear is that she would stay gone for good. So if it comes down to feeling respected or making sure Amber's happy, I think the second one is more important. It's a weird time for her. She's come so far, but I want her to go even further, grow and become an even better Amber. Causing drama would just make everything go backwards.
I'm supportive.
I'm supportive! Sorry, I read too fast again and I skipped ahead. That's my bad. I partially cut off what she said. My bad.
And also cute.
That's right, Marina. I like to reaffirm positive things out loud, because when I say them, they feel more true. But as I get up and make my way over to the cupboard for a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, yikes, that literally have my name written on them in marker, I sure don't feel like either of those things. My arm is already elbow deep in the bag when I decide that I'm gonna need some of the hard stuff to really tie this sad snack together. So I shuffle over to the fridge for a liter of strawberry soda. Stuck to the fridge door, thanks to the help of my handy-dandy A&M magnets, is a 2-week-old article from the Carlsbad Current Argus. Local girl strikes gold. Miner's treasure found. It's silly, but I always wanted to wind up in this thing. Never read a newspaper in my life, but that's not important. Just the fact that it was the newspaper made it feel like a prize. They even used this totally adorable picture of me and Amber shaking hands. Even though there were plenty of cute pictures of us holding hands or kissing, they chose the handshake one. That's fine. It's perfect, really. Except for the stupid caption beneath the pic. Marina Hale, 18, with her treasure hunting partner Amber Golly? I don't know how to say her last name. Amber Golly? Because Gol has an A, right? I mean, you could totally pronounce that Golly, but I mean, maybe. But Golly sounds funny. Like you're saying, well, Golly. Like I don't know. Anyway, 19. Never. How often are we gonna have to say Amber's last name, right? Not very often. The wording is way too specific. You could read through the entire freaking article and not even know we're dating. But I guess that's the point, isn't it? People like hometown heroes when they like them, and I guess I'm just not that now. Amber was so ticked when she read it that I thought she might actually pass out. It didn't bother me so much though. Let them think or let them do or think whatever they want. I had Amber. I was the real winner. But now it just feels mean, like it's making fun of me, because 1 month later, it still feels like Amber's my babysitter more than she's my girlfriend. I open up the fridge and grab the soda, just gonna drink it straight from the bottle. Me and Amber drink the same soda, but out of different bottles now. She's been getting weird about backwash lately. When I shut the fridge, I take one last glare at the article. It's a nasty thing to think, but I hope that the author of the article can feel the bad vibes I'm sending his way.
Treasure hunting partner. Try life partner, bucko.
Yeah, bucko. I love Marina so much. She's so awesome. Over on the couch, my phone vibrates. With a bag of chips tucked under one arm and a bottle of bad choices tucked under the other, I am right here. I run over so I can nest in my misery. I sink down as fast as I can into the stiff couch. My stained... Oh, that was so stupid of us. We should have saved it. We should have saved it at that choice, so maybe we could do the other one in the same playthrough. Well, we still could, actually. We could just skip. Yeah, okay. We might go back in this playthrough at the very end when it's all over and then see Amber's point of view or whatever. We might do some... It all might be part of the same playthrough. We'll just have to... We're kind of playing it by the... we're flying by the seat of our pants, as my dad says. And, which... Hey, blind playthrough. That's what happens. Anyway, my stained fingers streak red dust across the screen. Oh, that's like one of the worst parts about eating snacks and touching anything. I hate getting my fingerprints all over it. One new message from Tess. The Cheetos clog my throat as I gasp. I pound my chest and try to choke it down. My other hand does thumb foo so I can bring up Tess's message. It's been 3 whole days since I've heard from her. Very strange. She slipped a note with her number on in my pocket when we said goodbye in Palm Springs, and since then we've been talking almost every day. That's awesome. I was starting to worry Mariah drove them into a building or something. It's a possibility. I love that they have an actual phone screen. I love that. Hi, Marina. Hiya, Tess. It's been forever. I was starting to get worried. Sorry, have to be careful on Sis's phone. She almost got arrested today. OMG, again? Poor Tess. Mariah's really cool, like a pirate or a cowboy, but on a scale of Mariah's coolness to how bad I feel for Tess, I think I feel more bad for Tess. Growing up in an RV like that, not having any friends your own age, at least there's Joe to look after her, but if we aren't seriously careful, she's gonna turn out like Amber. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, she might turn out like Amber, God forbid. You know, it's funny because Amber's like 19, but she feels like she's like 35. She just has she feels very old. I mean, I feel like that's a byproduct of being very responsible for things older, you know, having responsibilities shoved on you at a very young age, you know, like really heavy ones. It's a byproduct is by the time you hit like 19, you feel like you've been around the block, you know what I mean? Anyway, the 3 little dots on the bottom of the screen pop out. A couple seconds later, I get a new pic from Tess. It's a selfie of Tess. She's not smiling or frowning, just staring. Behind her is the famous Las Vegas sign, and it looks gigantic because she's so tiny. There is one little thing about the pic that's worrisome, though. Mariah. Well, not really her, but the chainsaw she's holding. The one with lots of teeth that reminds me of an alligator. She's using it on one side of the poles, holding up the sign. Oh my god, Mariah, what are you doing? And maybe it's just the camera, but her eyes look like they're on fire. Joe, as trusty as ever, is standing between her and a very angry-looking police officer. His arms are spread out like a shield. Oh dear. What you guys doing in Vegas? Trying to get more money. Why are you out of money? Because we're in Vegas? Yeah, kind of figures. Also, Joey says we're going into an alien convention for my birthday. Huh? 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 Tess, what the heck? You didn't tell me your birthday was coming up? You didn't ask. How was I supposed to know, huh? How old are you turning? 12? I don't think it'll I don't think it will feel very different from 11. No, you need to be happy. You only turned 12 once. Okay, I'll try harder to be happy. Where's it gonna be? Here? She sends me a link to the website. I tap it over and over and over and over until the web app pulls it up. The very first thing I notice is a thin, tall building taking up most of the site's background. I'm really proud of myself, too, because I remember from the last time we were in Vegas. It's the tallest building there. I think Amber said it was called the Stratosphere? So it's being held there, huh? My eyes feel like they're gonna pop out of my head as I read more about it. Guests, music, vendors. It sounds like the music festival Amber and me went to. When everything felt perfect, picture perfect. When it was easy to look past flaws as charm points, to kiss each other and talk about all the places we're gonna go. Ah, this looks like so much fun! Are you excited? Meh. That's no good. Would you be excited if I came? I love that. That emoji is actually one of my favorite emojis. I use it in my own texting all the time. I like it. I like her little eyes like, maybe. The door to the back of the RV slides open so hard the wood rattles and I'm afraid the whole RV might tip over. It's hard not to smile whenever I see Amber. Yawning, she steps out of the bathroom with her tangly, messy hair flopping everywhere.
Feeling any better, Gorge?
Gorge? Really? That's the best you could come up with? What are you gonna call her next? A canyon?
A little worse for wear, but I think I'll live.
Like some kind of freaky Terminator robot, she zeroes in on my bag of flaming hot Cheetos and the bottle of soda. I've been caught red-handed, literally.
And I thought I was having a rough go of it.
It's nothing like that. I just wanted to treat myself.
Why does she always have to make me feel bad about even snacks? I already know it's junk. It tastes good, it makes me feel good, and I wish we could leave it at that. I wish she would just leave it at that.
Better be careful with those Cheetos, though.
Eat too many, and cheese will start coming out of your ears.
Eat too many, and cheese will start coming out of your ears.
Right on schedule.
Even if that happens, they still won't be as cheesy as your jokes.
She walks over and flops down next to me, fishing a single Cheeto out of the bag before dropping it in her mouth.
But you love it.
When I giggle, it's like I'm forcing myself to do it. I wonder if it sounds as painful as it feels. Whenever I resent a stupid joke or comment, I always feel so petty. This is Amber. It's who she is, and I'm supposed to love her for it.
Talking to Tess again?
Collapsing onto my lap, Amber looks up at me from with her bright hazel eyes. Seeing them right above the bags underlining them makes me want to giggle. Actually giggle. She's an uncomplicated mess and I'm totally here for it.
Yep, I was a teeny bit worried since it had been a few days, but it looks like everything is a-okay.
How okay can things be when she has Mariah as a sister?
I run my fingers through her hair and comb it back. Very handsome.
Come on, don't be so harsh. She can't control who her family is.
But her crappy family can control her phone usage. Why the heck does she need one anyway? She's like 8.
It's Mariah's phone, and actually she's turning 12, in the next few days even.
Even worse if it's Mariah's phone. What kind of sites do you think that crusty sleaze goes to anyway?
Oh my god, did she actually just do that?
Amber! Didn't you hear me? Tess is turning 12.
She stops and clicks her head, like her hearing is only catching up to her now. If I'm being truthful, I think she's only going to acknowledge it because she thinks I might be upset.
Oh, shoot. Tess,
Yeah, good cover, Amber. Well freaking done. She's like, yeah, Tess. I totally care about Tess. Is what Amber's trying to say.
That's great. Happy birthday, Tess.
She stares at me, waiting for the conversation to continue.
Should we get her some presents?
I nod my head while she slowly pronounces presents. The relief is so obvious as she rushes out the rest of the word. Amber's like, is that what you do on birthdays? I don't like that I'm already a little peeved. That said, if she can actually tell, then it sort of gives me leverage for what I'm going to ask next. She won't like it, though. But since they're in Vegas, I was thinking we could drive over and visit, too.
They're going to a convention to celebrate, and I was wondering...
Sure, sounds like fun.
I blinked twice.
Wait, really?
Yep, just keep me away from Mariah.
She said yes!
Sure, you sure? For sure, for sure. It's pretty spur of the moment.
So was you asking for my help to look for buried treasure, you hitchhiking nerd.
For a couple of seconds, maybe even longer, I just sort of stare at her. She says all the time that her looks are plain, but I don't think that's true. I think she looks kind. And I don't know where I'd be without her kindness, on the side of the road still, dead, back in Carlsbad. How can I let myself get so worked up over little things when she's done so many big things for me? Sure, things might get bumpy from time to time, but it's her kindness that changed my whole life. And I think I love her for that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you! Oh my god, babe. We're gonna have such a great time looking for things for Tess. The convention is a couple days long and for, like, aliens. Spacey kind of stuff.
Oh, that's perfect for you. You'll finally be able to phone home.
Haha, very funny. It's not like you've made the same alien joke 13 times in the last 30 days, and I'm not keeping count, so don't ask. The website.
Sorry, I thought it was over. Actually, no, I might have been able to mute myself in time. Anyway. That's funny. I shove the phone in her face, but she waves it away and uses her arm as a shield.
We'll print out everything at a library later. Ugh, looking at that thing gives me a headache.
Dude.
What?
You have to get over this phone thing.
Not happening. I've gone my entire life with just landlines and payphones, and I think I'm doing just fine.
Explain to me how being stuck in the 90s is doing just fine. A phone would be really helpful for you. You'd be able to use a GPS instead of those bulky maps we lug around everywhere.
Maps won't stop working when the grid is attacked, and there's no internet, Mare.
You are such a weirdo! Embracing the 21st century isn't gonna mess up your aesthetic. It's gonna make your life easier!
Mare.
She stares up at me. Her eyes are flat like when we first met.
How often is it that I actually tell you no?
My heart drops like a sad trumpet. I shouldn't force this. She already said yes to the trip. It's time to grow up and pick my battles. Last time we were in Vegas, I went off to buy us phones, but then I ran into Mariah and things spiraled from there. I think she would have actually gone for the idea a month ago. Now it just feels like she's clinging to her stubbornness out of pride.
Right. I'll meet up some other time.
She rolls her eyes and takes a breath, not really happy with the answer, but not willing to start anything over it.
It's fine. Maybe I'll come around. Stranger things have happened.
It's true. I know, because I'm one of them.
The best one.
She climbs off the couch and stretches.
Thinking we should probably camp here in the park tonight. We'll wake up earlier than the dawn of man and manage to get there in 8 hours. That sound good?
In the hood.
Under the hood. The RV needs a little bit of a tune-up, so I'm gonna drop her off at a shop for a few days. I'm sure we'll find at least one hotel that doesn't care if we're not 21.
I bounce off the couch. We almost never stay in hotels. The RV is convenient that way, but hotels are just so...
What the heck? That's so fancy.
Not like we aren't good for the cash.
She walks over to the driver's seat and I follow right behind, taking my spot in the passengers.
I can't believe you're so loose about this. You're usually so high-strung.
I figure things are just going to keep happening to me. So resisting them is stupid. Getting bent out of shape about everything will just take years off my life. I'd rather spend this with you.
My heart skips a couple of beats. Pretty sure it would have gone flat on the monitor. It takes me off guard when she says things like that. She always tells me that she loves me, but at times like this, I really believe it. I really do, and still.
Besides,
I'm looking at her bandaged forearm.
how often is it that I tell you no?
Interesting. Alright, I think we're jumping in with the trio now. Sin City's namesake held up particularly well this afternoon as Mariah retched like turned sharply, right. Retched his head first into the RV's toilet. Oh, retched like I was puking, right, okay, I'm sorry. As Mariah retched head first into the RV's toilet at approximately 4:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I warned you about going on one of your binges after eating shellfish.
Can you picture the voice actor? They're like, alright, well, you're puking your guts out. Like, go for it. Is he just, like, sitting in the booth just like, blah, blah. That'd be so hard to, like, keep a straight face. I would, like, I don't know how hard. That would be really difficult. Joe cringed at the sound of cocktails, both shrimp and mixed, plopping into the water. Oh, gross. He held her hair in a tight ponytail. She held the brim of the toilet.
Or maybe this is just all our deeds finally catching up to us. Only so many buffets we can sneak into before the universe starts tallying up those sins.
Another wet purge and 2 coughs later, Mariah lifted her head out of the bowl. With a smoker's wheeze, she's flipped Joe a weak, crooked bird.
Shove it. Your Carmo Mumbo Jumbo is bullshit. Just like you.
Not too sure about that, Mariah. I know you're familiar with what they say about karma, because it's the same thing they say about you.
At least I'm not a slacker like some bum I know.
With one last echoing belch, Mariah wobbled to her feet. She yanked away from Joe and used the sink as leverage.
We're all going to be bums if we don't figure out this little financial crisis we're in.
You worry too much. It's so freaking annoying.
Only half paying attention, Mariah dug through the many pockets of her jumpsuit, the number of which she'd probably get bored of counting if she tried.
Considering we don't even have enough to pay for our next tank of gas, I don't think I worry enough.
Give me a break. We're in Vegas, baby. Vegas! Land of opportunity and all that crap. A couple of games of poker and we can turn whatever pocket change we have left into millions.
A devious smirk onto Mariah's face as she finally located her flask, as if it were the only real happiness she had ever truly known. She pulled the leather-bound canteen out of her breast pocket and twisted the cap off.
Seriously? You're already completely crocked.
Mariah closed her eyes and put on the best impression of a California stoner. They were both from Missouri.
Seriously? Mind your own damn beeswax. You don't know what it's like to be me.
Unaware that Joe had watered it down the morning of, Mariah took a swig of bottom-shelf whiskey, gurgled it like mouthwash, then swallowed. Pleasantly surprised that it didn't burn as much as usual when going down, she took another sip.
No, but I do have to live with you, which is why I'm not paying you your cut tomorrow unless you promise to stay away from the table games.
Mariah choked, spitting the whiskey into the sink. It came out as a brown spray.
You have no right!
Preemptive measures. I have every right.
Yawning, Joe sauntered out of the bathroom and over to the beat-down leather couch. He had laid down in it so often that it had begun to mold itself into the shape of his tall, lanky body. He fit in it perfectly.
I forbid it! I forbid you to have rights!
I forbid you to have rights.
If you want to waste your money from the last job by hitting the slots, then be my guest. But we all remember the last time you tried your hand at playing a hand.
Hey! I would have won that game of blackjack if this squirt didn't double-cross her own flesh and blood and cheat for those thieves.
Oh, look at little Tess! Oh my god! She pointed at the hidden cot built into the cabinets above the couch. In the shadows, a small girl was curled into a ball and tapping on a cracked screen of a phone. Tess glanced up at her sister's piercing finger, then returned to the phone. The blue artificial light glowed on her face.
Yes, Mariah, blame the literal child. Surely she's the cause of all your woes. Besides, Tess was a fair and impartial dealer. You're just a sore loser.
He raised his hand high enough to reach the cot and kept it there expectantly. Tess gave a tiny sigh and patted his hand with a limp high five. There was no decisive slap to punctuate Mariah's poor life decisions, just awkward silence. With the bare minimum of her expected anticipation met, Tess rolled over on her side and buried her knees deeper into her chest. Her focus rested solely on the phone. In the cramped space, it was the only light that shined. It had been like this lately. Not that Tess was ever much of a talker, but whatever was left of it had slowed from a trickle to a drip. Gone were the inquisitive questions and follow-ups to Joe's sick burns directed towards Mariah. Even her precious license plate collection, once polished daily, was collecting dust. Joe stared up at the bottom of the cot, wondering if his gut was working itself into another ulcer, or if Tess really was putting out strange vibes.
You two don't even know how lucky you are to have me. I'm the one who keeps the show on the road.
So it's like, it's at hidden cot. Is she up? Oh no, maybe, oh there, probably right there. Yeah, because he was laying down and he put his arm up, so that's probably it right there. Obviously that's a pillow and a blanket, right? So it's like, is it like way up in the cupboards? Like how hidden is this little cot? But anyway, no, I think that's it right there. Anyway, right.
What road? We've been camped out in the Treasure Island parking lot for 3 days.
And we'll camp out for 3 more if we gotta.
Joe couldn't help but feel tremendous pity for Mariah. The treasure she had been searching for all her life had slipped through her fingers, and now, like with most things in her life, she was compensating. Only now it was with cheaply themed casinos. He wondered if the irony was lost on her. It probably was.
You know I can just go around the city and look for folks who need handiwork done, right? Don't get me wrong, I love a good get-rich-quick scheme. There are more ways to make money.
See, that right there is your major malfunction. You're so small-minded, air can't even squeeze through your fat head.
Mariah stumbled over to the beanbag and crashed. She meditated on the dark stain sticking to the ceiling, a side effect of leaving beer cans out to soak in the desert heat for too long. How was she supposed to know they would explode?
If you're gonna keep at that blue-collared crap, then you may as well go home and work your old man's shop. Otherwise, let me keep doing the thinking for the 3 of us, okay?
If there was a set amount of points Joe could pull from every day and put towards lecturing Mariah, it would probably be right about now that he would reach his daily maximum. Rather than go into debt, which at this rate was going to happen literally, and pull from tomorrow's points, he slipped his bandana over his eyes and cozied deeper into the couch.
Whatever you say, Mariah, just don't forget about the alien convention tomorrow. If we're lucky, maybe you'll get abducted.
Mariah scoffed, though her mucus did most of the work. Sorry, I don't know why that was so weird for me.
Why should I have to go to some crummy convention? Those tickets would be worth more if we scalped them off to some sweaty nerd.
In case you've forgotten, trust me, I know you have, it's your sister's birthday. And as much as I would like to gift her therapy after everything that went down in Texas, this option is cheaper.
For a moment, the RV felt like it was inside of an icebox. The three of them could only shudder as they recalled the events that occurred in the Lone Star State. Most treasure hunts were busts, others were more explodey.
If you still don't want to stick around by the time we're there, then go wander off to the swamp meet or something. Just make sure Tess knows why her big sis doesn't care enough to spend her special day with her.
Oh, give me a break. If you're gonna break my balls with a guilt trip, then at least swing a little harder.
It's not a guilt trip if it's the truth.
Mariah bent her fingers into sharp claws, ready to strangle Joe if he kept testing his luck.
Hey, I'm a kick-ass sister. Best in the union, if you ask me.
You have some puke on your chin.
She wiped her face on her fist, then wiped her fist on her jumpsuit.
Hey, twerp! You think I'm a good sister, right?
Like a tired dog, Tess rolled over to her other side, static boredom stuck to her face.
You're the only one I've got.
Ha! She's right. Smart kid.
The math isn't that hard, Mariah.
She stumbled over to Tess's cot and leaned in. Somehow, the whiskey on her breath was able to break through the smell of stale vomit. Tess tried not to breathe through her nose.
How come you don't get out of bed anymore, huh? You break a toe or something?
No, I just don't want to get out.
She tapped the phone once, message sent.
Hold on. Oh, don't tell me you're using my phone to text that ditz again.
She swiped the phone right out of Tess's hands. Tess made a limp grasp for it, but was too slow.
You could at least remember her name.
Ain't there anybody else you could text? You not have friends or what?
Why? You don't care.
Hey, Marina's thoughts updated. Check this item out in the gallery. Interesting. Mariah looked at her phone as another message from Marina popped up. She swiped it away. Tess had changed. Oh man, I remember my poor dyslexia struggling with Mariah and Marina. Oh man. Tess had changed Mariah's lock screen to a rendition of American Gothic, where the husband and wife's somber Depression-era faces had been replaced with oversized sunflowers. Her eyes shifted up to Tess, who glanced away the microsecond there was contact. Instead, Tess just looked at the wall across the RV. The space was naked and empty. With a tired sigh, Mariah tossed her phone back to Tess.
Just don't go snooping in my journal.
Mariah flopped down on the couch and clutched her aching head. It had felt better than she had chucked everything up, but now it was starting to throb again.
I've been trying to call Mom. Hasn't picked up yet.
Big surprise there.
Don't worry, kiddo. I'm sure she won't forget about this year.
Mariah chose from one of the several cans spread out around her. She took the last gulp of stale beer and crushed it in her fist. That's disgusting.
Quit lying to her. The old hag is probably too busy choking on a bottle of wine when she ain't busy choking on
Ahem.
Joe pointed up at Tess, thrusting his arm for emphasis. In her head, Tess thought of all the words she knew that started with D, but none of the ones that she knew seemed to work.
What? The truth, even if it sucks. Just ask my old lady.
Thud, thud, thud. Before Joe could even decide whether he wanted to counter that statement or not, 3 heavy thuds clattered against the RV door.
Las Vegas PD, we'd like to ask a few questions.
Oh no.
Ugh, not these bozos again.
Nose goes.
Tess was the first to touch her nose, Joe second. Mariah hadn't even touched hers by the time she had lost.
God damn it.
Grumbling, Mariah climbed to her feet, a xylophone of cracking bones following as she straightened out her back. She stumbled through a shallow lake of empty bottles and cans.
Wish me luck.
No.
Just no. She kicked the door wide open, then unleashed her bellow upon the world.
Alright. Who's the one asking for an ass kicking?
Mariah, you idiot. He just said he was a cop. The door swung shut. All that could be heard now was the muffling shouting from outside. Just a day in the life. Yikes. Yikes. Left in relative silence, Joe laid on the couch. His bandana still covered his eyes, giving him plenty of focus to hear the stock sounds of sent and received messages coming from the phone. Mariah lacked any definition one may potentially have for a delicate touch, but she had a point. Tess's phone usage had spiked. In the past, it had seemed like she hadn't even had an interest in using phones, but that seemed to suit Tess just fine, instead preferring old things, rustic things. In moments when Joe had felt like the 11-year-old, she had called it surrealist Americana and the aesthetic of the crumbling dream. Oh my god. Of course, after everything that happened with the miner's treasure, crumbling dreams were just par for the course. But when it was all said and done, Tess was still only a child, and underneath the stoicism was a child's honest soul, impacted and molded by everything that happens to them. He toyed with the plastic dog tag dangling from his neck. Engraved in the cheap material was a name that had mostly been worn down by time, Benjamin Nowell. Nowell? I wonder what his dog tags say. Like, I wonder who, is that him? But his name is Joe. Anyway, whatever. Climbing to his knees, Joe rose up to face Tess. He sat his chin down on the edge of her cot and grinned. Tess's eyes flickered with interest. She thought he looked like a decapitated head from where he was laying.
So, you excited for the convention tomorrow, kiddo? Little green man told me it was gonna be out of this world.
That joke was lame.
That's what makes it funny, though.
Tess smiled slightly, but as soon as it was there, it was gone. Smiling was hard. Maintaining it was harder.
I'm not sure if I'm excited. Maybe not.
Joe raised his eyebrow until it was hidden by his bandana.
Not even for that guy with the crazy hair from TV. Brochure says he's gonna talk about the pyramids.
Don't know. Professor Crazy Hair doesn't even have his crazy hair anymore. It's very sad.
Ah, that's normal. As soon as we get there, you'll be so stoked, your mind will explode.
That's what I thought too.
Tess nursed her temple, sliding her own bandana down until it covered her eyes.
But the closer we get, the more I don't know. The only thing I know is that I don't know, you know?
Ah, I see.
He didn't know.
Wait, that was a lie. I know something.
Oh.
Tess popped out from beneath her bandana and unlocked the phone.
Did you know our bodies release chemicals when we feel good things?
I, may have heard a thing or two.
It's called... Hold on, I can't pronounce it.
She tapped the screen.
Dopamine.
Ah, good old dopamine. Delicious.
It's called dopamine. It's probably why Sis drinks.
Wow, that's... Huh. Where did you learn all this?
Tess looked back up, staring past Joey, staring at the wall. It was a solid wall, sturdy wall. Good for an RV.
I wonder if my brain makes dopamine.
Oh god! Tess is like, I have never felt happiness. Oh, poor Tess. Oh my god. The conversation was making more twists and turns than Mariah's driving. Hardly able to keep up with it, Joe said the first adult-sounding thing that entered his head.
Oh, I'm... sure it does?
Joe tacked a question on the end of his sentence. Somehow he didn't think that made it sound very comforting.
I hope so. Sometimes I think it doesn't.
I'm worried it doesn't.
Other times I'm afraid it does and I just don't feel it. I hope I feel it. I hope I feel dopamine.
Joe sat there and stuttered, a collage of panic shot through his head. Holy crap! What the hell? Isn't she supposed to be 11? Did she get into Mariah's liquor cabinet? But one thought in particular rang with resounding clarity. Something is seriously wrong. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I think she's depressed. I mean, honestly, I think that's her problem. I think she's incredibly super depressed. And, like, which relatable. Like, I get that more than I wish I did. The phone buzzed. She stopped staring at the wall and checked the screen. Her eyes grew large like a curious cat.
Something up?
Marina and Amber are coming tomorrow.
She brought the phone close enough to his face to burn his retinas. Amber said we could come! Joe lowered down his goggles and leaned in to inspect. He pulled them back up and smirked.
No kidding? It'll be nice to catch up with those ladies again. Not that they ever seem to be very far.
Bound by fate.
If Joe needed proof that Tess's brain produced dopamine, then the evidence was right there. There was just something about Marina that clicked with her. Joe had a soft spot for those ladies too. The bitter taste of losing the treasure to them was still fresh in his mind, but he got the sneaking suspicion that they deserved it more. I have no idea. Q or K, Sarah. I have no idea what that means. Oh god! Mariah's gonna get shot, dude. Like, people that are far more innocent have been shot over far less. Mariah's shrieking voice seemed to pierce through the RV's very frame.
Let's keep this between you and me for now. That wound hasn't quite healed for your sister yet.
Self-inflicted.
Mariah tore through the door. A cop followed close behind. She slammed it in his face.
Buckle up! We're going to circus!
Because you're a clown?
Mariah slapped him over the head as she ran for the driver's seat. She cranked the engine on.
I know about the chainsaw. He's calling for backup!
What?
And so what, your plan is to, like, outrun the cop? Tess slid the cabinet door to her cot shut, closing herself in like a vampire in a coffin. Ah, so it looks like that her little makeshift cot, this cabinet up here, probably, it goes down so that she's, like, literally locked inside. That's interesting. Which makes sense for Tess, honestly. Joe had still wanted to talk more, but certain other issues were a tad more pressing. He rushed into the passenger seat and rolled down the window to stick his head out.
All units report. Suspect is resisting arrest and entering their vehicle.
You just make new friends wherever we go, huh?
Not my fault the buzz only hires pansies!
Got him. She made sure to yell extra loud so the officer could hear her.
But being a public menace is entirely on you!
Wow, cry more. While you're at it, grab those candles I taped together from the glove compartment. They won't do anything, but they look like TNT, so it might give them a scare.
Groaning every step of the way, Joe complied. They slid out of the parking lot, swerving through every lane of traffic.
So do you want to tell me why we're heading to Circus of all places?
Ain't it obvious? No one goes to Circus. It's the perfect hiding place.
Wow. Freaking wow, dude. Alright, meanwhile, Amber. My goodness.
It's gonna be a left coming up here really soon.
Okay, tell me when.
Marina grips her phone so tightly I can see the concentration in her face from my peripheral vision. It looks like she's afraid the directions are going to slide right off the screen if she looks away.
How much further?
Almost there. I think it's at this light?
You think?
No, it definitely is. It's at... Wait, no, it's not! Turn left now!
Her arm shoots in front of my face just in case I forgot what direction left is. The bigger problem is I don't have enough time to react and end up missing the turn.
You gotta give me more warning next time.
I can't keep the edge out of my voice entirely. This isn't the first turn we've missed.
Sorry.
Her face falls, and so does her phone into her lap.
It's fine.
We're riding through the labyrinth of Las Vegas as Marina tries to direct us. Of course, the GPS application that she's using can't make up its mind, as Marina keeps complaining. Our destination, the Stratosphere, stands tantalizingly close. Even among the gaudy structures that make up most of the famous Las Vegas Strip, the Stratosphere stands out because of how tall it is.
What's the next direction?
She fumbles with the phone, which has gone dark. It takes her several tries to get it to unlock.
You're gonna want to go right at this next light.
Are you?
I'm sure, Amber.
I bite my lip to hold back the just checking that I desperately want to utter. It's nothing personal against her, I just want to actually get there. I merge into the right turn lane and then make the turn.
Next?
Next, you wanna... Wait, crap.
What now?
It wanted us to go down a street we just passed.
Why didn't you say so?
It didn't give me enough time.
I bite my lip again, harder this time, and exhale a deep breath.
Okay, what do we do instead?
It's redirecting.
She sounds utterly pitiful, holding up the device to show just how useless it's being. Deep breaths, Amber. It's not her fault. I coast down the road, waiting for Marina's phone to catch up.
Oh, it's coming up! Right on Sahara! It's on this street!
This time, I'm able to make it onto the correct street, and Marina breathes a sigh of relief. The Stratosphere looms over us, only 9 minutes away according to the GPS.
That was a close one.
See, that's why I prefer a good old-fashioned map. The directions aren't gonna change on you halfway through.
The thing to remember about GPS is on a phone, though, it's not absolute. Like, 9 times out of 10, there's another way to get to a certain destination. And GPSs do change their mind. So halfway through, they'll be like, you know what? This way's better, even though you selected this way to go. So, like, the thing is, use a GPS as a guide, but don't treat it like it's a law of the road. Like, if you miss it, just miss it. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, you know, just don't live by your GPS. Don't treat it like it's, you know, a commandment from God or something. Like, you know, just use it as a very bare bones guide, but overall try to have an idea where you're going and the GPS to help you get there, but it's very much just a very light suggestion. It's, you know, it's not law here. If you miss it, it's okay. Just flip it, just do a U-turn, go around a different way, whatever, but it's not that big a deal. So, like I've never understood that, you know what I mean? Just, like, it's not a law, people. Like, you know, you miss it, it's not that big a deal. Anyway, alright, sorry. Even as she denies it, I can see the hint of a smile starting to form on her face. She knows as well as I do that we could have been here half an hour ago if not for the navigational mishaps.
Any more surprise turns coming up that I should be aware of?
None. Smarty pants make smarty pants.
Outside, the shimmering sunset makes the whole place look like a mirage. The skyline glistens like it's sweating. In the seat next to me, Marina squirms in anticipation.
You really that excited to see some aliens?
I'm excited to see Tess. And also the aliens.
Maybe they'll take you back to your home planet with them.
This time, Marina just glares at me. Well, they can't all be zingers.
Just take me with you if they do.
She can't help it. She cracks a smile. Right as she does, we reach the parking lot and I slowly swing in. Las Vegas casinos are some of the few places that are built with people like me in mind, specifically people driving large, unwieldy RVs. There's a lot of overnight RV parking, and I follow the signs to make my way there.
How many of these people do you think are here for the con?
There's a fairly steady stream of cars going in and out, and people on foot hurrying across the lot. Most of them look like the kind of folks you'd expect to be at a casino right around the early evening.
No idea. I didn't see much signage coming in, so maybe it's not a big deal.
Oh, I hope that's not true.
How come? That just means we'd have to stand in lines longer.
It's a convention. It's supposed to be busy. Imagine if we went to that concert and there were no other fans, just us and the band.
Wow, that would have made it even better.
Amber sounds like me. Marina swats my arm, making her trademark pff noise for when she doesn't have any better comebacks. I find us a parking space and squeeze in. Driving in these kinds of cramped spaces used to make me nervous, afraid that I'd bump into someone or scratch a car. Spending the past few months on the road have eliminated that fear entirely by now. Marina skips to the back, grabbing the duffel bag that she's packed for us hours ago.
Here, let me carry that.
It's fine, I've got it.
She clutches the bag tightly like it's a treasured possession.
Suit yourself.
We step out of the RV and I lock the door behind us.
Which way do we go? This place is huge.
She isn't wrong. The parking lot alone is big enough to host a convention in. It offers some much-needed protection from the sun, which is sure to be furiously hot today.
Just follow the crowds of people. They'll take us to the front.
Crowds might be an overstatement. It's more of a steady trickle. Mostly older folks, people who retired and now wasting their savings on the slot machines or hoping to win their way out of a crippling debt. I feel a little bad for them. Not everyone can dig their fortune out of the ground, conveniently left behind by someone years ago.
Oh, Amber, look!
I follow her line of sight to a pair of pitiful-looking cardboard aliens, packing tape covers their necks like a noose, as well as their waists and legs, attaching them to a concrete pillar. One has a sign that says what happens in space, while the other sign says stays in Vegas. Very clever.
Hold the bag for a sec. I'm gonna go take a picture.
After hanging the bag from my shoulder, Marina darts over to the decoration. She uses her phone to take a couple of pictures of the aliens on their own, and then squeezes her face in next to theirs to take a selfie. Then she frowns.
Hey, Amber?
What is it?
I already know she's gonna ask me to join the photo with her, and I start heading towards her.
Can you take a picture of me? I can't get an angle I like.
Oh, sure.
I take the phone she offers and press the camera button.
Ugh, it's all blurry.
Tap me.
What?
On the screen. Tap my face.
Ugh, but it's all blur.
Just do it.
I follow her instructions and the camera focuses on Marina.
Better?
Yeah, that fixed it.
Okay, cool.
I snap the picture.
Here you go.
Wait, I wasn't ready.
You look fine.
Was I even smiling?
I check the phone. It's back to camera mode.
I don't know.
Marina stops over, pretending to be annoyed.
Let me see.
She takes the phone. It just cracks me up because, like, there's a fair amount of this, this whole picture thing, which is like, I don't know. There's so many people I can think of on the top of my head that remind me of, like, little moments like this. Like, in some ways, like, some of the little quips about, like electronics and technology, like, reminds me of my parents in some ways. Or my sisters and I, or whatever. Like, there's so many people over the years or whatever that I can picture that, like, has little, you know, conversations like this, little back and forth or whatever as you're trying to just take pictures. And it just cracks me up because she's 19 years old. She's 18 years old. They're so young. But, like, and, like, Marina, like, I mean, Marina feels like her age. Like, she feels like an 18-year-old, but Amber, to me, feels like she's, like, 30. You know what I mean? Like, Amber does not feel like a young kid to me. Like, but you have to remember, she's 19, so it's just funny that, like, you know, they're doing all this stuff before their time. They're already in it, having this whole, she's like, I don't like phones, or whatever. Like, I don't even know anybody that has a hard stance on phones, period, you know? Anyway, I digress. She takes the phone and taps the corner of the screen. I peek over her shoulder. Her face in the picture is a blur.
Okay, here, try again. And this time, wait until I'm ready.
How will I know?
Just wait for me to smile.
She scurries back to her spot and presses up against the concrete. I hold up the phone, tap her face, and wait for her to smile. Her face lights up with an award-winning grin, and for a second my heart skips a beat. I hope she'll keep smiling like that. As soon as I take the picture, Marina runs to my side. I tap the icon to bring up the picture.
You look great.
In response, she kisses my cheek.
Thanks for taking this.
We keep walking, and Marina stays engaged with something on her phone.
Talking to Tess?
Nah, my mom.
How is she?
Fine, just doing her mom thing.
What's that mean?
Oh, you know.
No, not really.
Marina shuts her eyes for a moment and her hand twitches like she's mentally berating herself. Then her eyes pop in and the moment is gone. Her eyes pop back in and the moment's gone. Because she is probably berating herself. She's probably kicking herself, being like, why did I bring up, like, not having a mom? That's so stupid. Or whatever. That's obviously what she was thinking there.
Right, she's just making sure I'm okay. That you're not holding me hostage against my will or anything like that.
Am I?
Marina swats my arm, looking upset.
Of course not. Don't joke about that.
Sorry.
Usually after a situation as tense as the navigational disaster, she'd be the first one to crack a joke and lighten the mood, but for some reason she doesn't seem as interested in playing along today. Instead, she gapes in awe at the immense height of the stratosphere as we pass under the small slice of sky between the parking lot entrance and the casino entrance. Any lingering annoyance on Marina's part is quickly wiped aside as the doors slide open in front of us.
I'll go check in. You can wait over here.
I don't mind standing in line with you, Amber.
Nah, it's fine.
She takes a half step forward like she's going to say something, but then changes her mind.
Okie dokie.
With that resolved, I make my way over to the line for the front desk. There are rope barriers showing the path, which have alien plushies tied to them in pipe cleaner bonds. I gesture to Marina, trying to get her attention to show her, but she doesn't notice me, so I move on. You know, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, you know, for Marina's side of things, Marina, like, she feels like she's, I don't know what the word is, like, she feels like she's being treated like a kid, and she wants to be, like, feel like an adult, and feel like, you know, she's an equal partner in an equal relationship with, you know, with Amber, and she's worried, like, you know, and that it's like this big thing where she feels annoyed because she feels like she's being babied, when, like, I feel like that she's looking at this the wrong way. Amber is a very take charge, in control person. That's the type of person Amber is. I know people like that. And, like, but on Amber's part, I don't really get the feeling she does it because she doesn't think Marina can do it. Like, when she does things like, oh, don't worry, I'll stand in line, and hey, do you want me to get the bag? Like, like things like that. That's not that's not Amber doubting Marina's ability to do anything, that she's not doubting her abilities. It's just Amber is a take control person. I feel like that without her even maybe knowing, she does that because it's how she cares. It's how she shows she cares. She wants to be the person to take care of, and she wants to be the person to defend, and she wants to be, she wants to be the person that, it makes her happy to serve Marina. Like, even without as many words, I think that's the reason. That's what it feels like to me. And I get that because in general, I am the Amber type of person. I'm happy when I can take care of somebody else or whatever. And I don't think it's a statement from Amber that like she doesn't think Marina can do it. It's that she's used to doing, used to being the in charge thing, but she wants to take care of Marina. And it's not that she's doubting anything else. So I feel like Marina's looking at this the wrong way, and I feel like that they need to they just need to talk. Like, they need to talk. These little annoyances and these little things that annoy you now, you've got to talk about this stuff, ideally before you were dating. But, or as things comes up, you just open communication. You've got to just say this stuff. Amber is not psychic. And if Marina is having things that annoy her and she's just like, no, I'll just suck it up. No, pick my battles or whatever. That's not the right attitude. You guys are a couple. So, as a couple, together, you should be trying to solve what's wrong, solve your grievances or whatever. Because Amber's not psychic and Marina's not either, so they just need to talk to each other. This, it might start as an irritation, but before long it'll be I can't even deal with your crap anymore, or whatever. I'm just saying. Anyway, sorry, I just to get off my soapbox, but I was just thinking, like I said, it's blind. I'm experiencing all this for the first time. Anyway, ever since she got her new phone, she spent half of her life disconnected from where we are and what we're doing. It's not enough that she sent her family a portion of her new wealth from the treasure. Turns out she owes them her constant attention too. Them and Tess. From what snippets Marina tells me, it sounds like things haven't gotten any better for that poor kid. I've tried telling Marina that it's not her job to worry about them, that she could put the phone away and clear her head instead of doing enough worrying for 3 people. Not like that ever stops her. Even when she knows better, once Marina's got an idea in her head, there's no getting her out of it. But I guess it's that attitude that I have to thank for bringing the two of us together in the first place, so it can't be all that bad. The person ahead of me in the line is called, and then it's my turn. I stride over to the concierge, I think is how you say that, removing my ID and credit card from my wallet.
Hi, we're here to check in for our hotel and for the convention. Should be under Amber Golly.
It is Golly! How about that? It is Golly. Now we know. Thanks, Amber, for saying that out loud. That makes my life a lot easier.
Miss Golly. Ah, right. Here you are.
He prints a few pages and has me sign them, then he hands me a pair of room keys.
Enjoy your stay.
Wow, that was easy. I collect Marina and we head to the elevator, tucking our luggage close to us. We crowd in with several other people, Marina squishing against my chest to make room. It's a huge area with shiny reflective walls. It whizzes upwards with breathtaking speed, and I can feel Marina lean against me for support. We reach our level over 100 stories later and head for the hotel room. That is a very tall building.
Whoa.
Her suitcase handle hits the floor as Marina hurries over to the window. She turns back towards me, excited.
It's like being in an airplane.
I join her at the window. She's right, you can see it forever from up here, but only a little slice of forever since the window isn't very large.
This is definitely the tallest building I've ever been in.
Me too, probably.
Marina leaves the window to inspect the rest of the room.
This is nice.
There's a mini fridge stocked with snacks and drinks, but don't drink them. Don't touch anything. Any hotel I've ever been in, that stuff's not free. At the end of it, whatever you take out of a fridge, they charge you for it after it's over. It's not in the fridge because they're like, oh, hey, maybe he wants a monster. Nope, you have to pay for that monster. I'm just saying, like, I don't have a specific experience. I'm just saying, I have always been told never take any snacks or drinks that come out of a fridge in a hotel room because it's not there just because they care about you. Like, they're gonna charge you for everything, and it'll probably be marked up too. So don't ever do it. Just a word of advice.
Don't touch those. They'll charge you like 3 times the price.
What did I just say? What did I just say? See, Amber knows. Amber knows things. I told you. That's verbatim what I just said. I even told you about the markup too, and that's exactly what she said.
Wait, they aren't free? What a ripoff.
No kidding.
I'm a genius, dude. That's life experience right there. I dump our bags in one corner and then flop down on the bed. It's not as comfy as mine, but it's fine.
No taking naps. We've got stuff to see.
I'm not napping. I'm just laying down. I've been driving all day.
So that's the thing, like, I've done lots of driving, like, when you drive all day, like, I don't want to nap, I want to move, I want to walk, I want to stretch my legs, and, like, whenever I'm done driving or sitting for a long period of time, that's what I want to do. I want to stand up and I want to walk around, I don't want to nap.
Well, no laying down for too long.
What stuff is it you want to see?
Everything. Since last time we saw... pretty much.
Ah, too real, bad memories. I could just as soon stay in bed for the rest of the day, but I know how excited Marina is. With a dramatic groan, I force myself out of bed.
Alright then, let's go.
We head back downstairs and outside. Marina stays close to me, our hands comfortably familiar with each other's as we interlace fingers. It hasn't been that long since we were last in the city together, but there's an odd sense of nostalgia to it because it feels like Marina and I were both different people then. The months since may as well been years. My brain could not understand what I was seeing there. As we take that first step into the furious Las Vegas heat, it feels like we're doing it for the first time. If there's any sentimentality to the moment for Marina, it doesn't show it at all. She doesn't show it at all. Instead, she's already got her sights set on the horizon and is pulling me along. Head in hand, we set off down the blazing path towards the famous Las Vegas Strip. Heat makes everything shimmer, as if this whole city is just an elaborate mirage. The sidewalk is crowded with people, and the streets packed with bumper-to-bumper traffic. There are intersections and traffic lights every few feet, allowing even more cars to join the crowd to escape it. Or escape it, sorry. Even the most mundane buildings, liquor stores, payday loan lenders, corner markets tend to have some form of makeup to fit in, whether it's murals or graffiti or some other decorations entirely. Make no mistake, Las Vegas is sleazy, but there's a certain greasy beauty to it.
Anything in particular that you want to see? We've got plenty of time.
Not really. I just want to see the city with you this time, since last time we,
got cut short.
right.
She and I both know that it's a pretty diplomatic way of putting it. The last time we came here, Marina lost all of the gold we had found to Mariah.
Come to think of it, you never did tell me what it was that you wanted to buy.
The whole reason we got caught up in that mess was because there was some gift that Marina had wanted to buy for me. While I appreciate the sentiment, of course, sometimes I'm afraid Marina's too nice for her own good.
Oh, it was just something silly.
In a city like Las Vegas, which is designed to part innocent tourists from their cash, it's not hard to imagine someone like Marina getting suckered into a bad deal.
It wasn't a pyramid scheme, was it?
No. If you really want to know, it was a phone. Well, phones. One for each of us. We were running a deal where if you bought 2 of a certain model, you'd get a big discount. I knew you'd get upset if I spent money on something like that, though, so I wanted to try winning enough to pay for them. But that didn't exactly work out.
Her face reddens, the lingering embarrassment of that afternoon still on her mind, it seems.
It's fine. It's better that it didn't, you know.
Why's that?
I don't know why. I don't want a phone. At all.
This isn't the first time we've talked about this, not even the second.
You're seriously the only person left alive who doesn't have a phone, you know?
You know, I get, like, being interested in being unplugged to a certain degree, okay? I get that. When I go to a forest or a mountain, I don't want to be Googling anything. Like, I want to be exploring, looking around, hiking, whatever I'm doing, enjoying the drive, whatever it is. But, like, for her, she doesn't have to get, like, whatever, the iPhone 900,000S or whatever's out, you know? just get, like, she could get a flip phone. Like, all it has to do is allow somebody to text you and call you. So just get enough just to cover that need. A very basic smartphone even. Like, just get enough so that you could maybe use your GPS if you even cared to. But at least allow it to text and to call, and then you, like, you would almost never check it. Just if you hear it make a noise, just check it then. Like, she doesn't have to get super plugged in. She could keep it as bare bones as she wanted it to be, you know? But not having one at all makes you very difficult to reach or get a hold of. And there might be somebody eventually you want to get a hold of, you know? Just saying.
Good. That means I'm off the grid.
What if there's an emergency?
I'll just use your phone.
What if we're not together?
I'll use someone else's.
What if there's no one else around?
Why wouldn't there be?
What if you're driving and the RV breaks down?
I'll hitchhike.
Yeah, and get murdered by one of a million different serial killers that kill you when you hitchhike.
There's no one passing by.
Then I'll walk to the nearest town.
It's 50 miles away.
I'll walk fast.
You can't walk that long.
I'll take a break.
It's 100 degrees.
I'll find some shade.
You're gonna die, Amber.
Then I won't need a phone anymore.
Oh my god, you two. What is happening? I don't expect Marina to understand, but having a phone and always being at someone else's beck and call is just unappealing to me. You don't have to answer it. Like, you know, it's up, but then it's just up to you if someone tries to get a hold of you, but then you're able to if you want to. Like, just look at my phone. My phone, lots of people call me. I never answer my phone if it's ringing, unless it's a blood family member. I never answer my phone. If you have something to say, text me and I'll get back to you when I darn well feel like it. Like, you know, Amber needs to use her phone like I use my phone, and she would be happy. The only person I'd use it to talk to is Marina, and 90% of the time she's with me anyway. It'd just be a waste of money. I've made it my whole life up until now without one, after all. Marina knows it too. I can practically see the gears turning in her head, trying to think of another argument, but she doesn't. She knows I've won.
If you say so.
I do. Besides, that was months ago, so it doesn't matter now anyway, right?
Marina only hesitates for a moment. We cross the baking asphalt to the shadier side of the street, and I buy us each a bottle of water from a tiny vendor.
Hey, speaking of gifts from last time,
You want to go to that candy store?
you know me so well.
It's the peach rings, right?
And the gummy bears, and the chocolate almonds, and everything else. But mostly the peach rings.
Dork. Cross your fingers that I can remember the way to get there.
Marina slides her phone out of her pocket.
Want me to...
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's this way.
Luckily, my memory and sense of navigation don't fail me. After a couple of minutes, I start to recognize a couple of the stores that I passed by last time I came through.
Should be right across here.
We turn a corner and sure enough, there it is. It's all in lime green, architecturally challenged glory.
Here we are.
Paradise itself.
Do you think that foxy candy store girl's gonna be here? I'm inclined to agree since the air conditioning that welcomes us is like manna from heaven. Inside, that trademark Marina enthusiasm finally takes over as she stands there slack-jawed.
Oh my god. Amber?
Have fun.
Can you grab another bag? Make that a few extra bags.
Last time I came here, they had a deal where if you buy 10 bags, you could get one free.
She freezes in place and spins around to face me, eyes wide.
Do you think they're still doing that?
I chuckle.
You'd have to ask the clerk. She was the one who told me about it.
To my surprise, I'm able to recall that attendant's face and name, Cassie, even though we only spoke for less than a minute. Being in a relationship was still new to me, and it was right after our first kiss, right after our friendship became something more. And it was when, talking to Cassie, that I called Marina my girlfriend for the first time, although she wasn't with me then. Thinking about it, I remember that day a lot more clearly than most days. None of this occurs to Marina, of course. I never even mentioned Cassie to her. No reason to, really. She snatches one of the extra bags that I grabbed for her and dumps a scoop of assorted jelly beans into it that make a satisfying sound as they all rattle together. I drape the extra bags over the edge of Marina's basket and start to wander. On one table, I'm sorry, I'm like swaying back and forth to the music in time, sorry. There are over a dozen different varieties of crystalline rock candy arranged in colorful patterns. Beside them are bundles of novelty sodas in thick green bottles. Another countertop features something really gross, real scorpions and other bugs that are encased in candy like fossils. Heard of those, seen those, that's disgusting. Why would anyone want to buy those things? I continue meandering through the store, not finding much that stands out to me. On the other side, Marina makes a racket as she fills multiple bags with candy. Sounds like she really is intending to make good on the buy 10 bags deal if they're still running it. I turn a corner past a giant display of foreign chocolate bars and come across a large window that looks into a giant kitchen. Well, well, well. Aside from some industrial strength candy making equipment, holy crap, look at her, she is a babe though. The kitchen is empty except for one uniformed girl bustling around like an agitated bumblebee. Even from behind I recognize there was a girl who rang me up last time I was here. What are the odds? She grabs a tray off of a counter and I can hear it clanging all the way from here. She dumps something, I can't see what, onto the tray and shakes it. Then as she goes to wipe her forehead, she notices me, and quickly heads in my direction. As she passes through a pair of swinging doors, she's already peeling off her gloves and putting on a customer service smile.
Hi, welcome to Sweet Tooth. How can I help you?
Would you like that list alphabetically or in order of importance?
Oh, I'm just looking around.
Let me know if you need anything.
She taps a finger to her chin, clearly thinking about something. I'm pretty sure I know what she's gonna ask.
Sorry if I'm wrong, but you were here a few months ago, right?
Yeah, surprised you remember. I was just buying some candy for a gift.
I'm good with faces. Although I don't think I ever got your name.
Amber.
Nice to meet you for real then. I'm Cassie, but you probably already knew that.
Last time her name tag was on the counter, but today it's pinned to her chest.
I've noticed.
How'd you like the peach rings?
Pretty good. My girlfriend loved them. She's probably emptying your entire supply of them right now, in fact.
Your girlfriend's got good taste.
Marina herself comes around the corner a second later, probably because she heard us speaking. Several bags of candy dangle from both of her hands, nearly scraping against the ground.
Who are you talking to?
This is Cassie. She works here. And this is Marina, my girlfriend.
Hey there. Hi there. It's nice to meet you. I'd shake your hand, but mine are covered in chocolate right now. Do you two know each other?
We do now. She helped me the last time I came here, when we passed through before.
So you're not from around here then?
Nah, I'm not really from anywhere. She's from Carlsbad.
Oh, in New Mexico? Nice place. You must have never been there. It's the most boring town.
I enjoyed passing through it to get to the caverns.
Boring? You kidding? All those caves, trails, nature? I can't get enough of that.
I know exactly what you mean. Give me some quiet in the middle of nowhere rather than this city any day.
Cassie nods approvingly while Marina just shrugs.
If you'd grown up there, I'm sure you wouldn't feel that way. Everyone's bored of their own story, I guess. What does not really from anywhere mean?
I spent a long time in Colorado with my grandpa, but we spent more time on the road than anywhere.
Why did it zoom in to cut out Marina? Just like she's invisible. How rude.
Ever since he passed away, I've just been driving. That's how Marina and I ended up meeting.
What brings you two back to Vegas then? Besides the irresistible offerings here at Sweet Tooth, of course.
Marina heard about this alien convention thing going on at one of the casinos, so we're here for that. But it doesn't open until tomorrow, so we're killing time right now.
Alien convention? The one at the Stratosphere?
Sure is. Is it a big deal? We don't really know what to expect.
There'll be a few hundred people at least.
She jerks her head in the direction of the kitchen, where she has just been hard at work.
I'm doing prep work for the same thing, but don't tell my boss that, or he'll fire me. What you prepping for? I've got a booth there, selling some sweets and homemade stuff.
She gestures around the store disdainfully.
Unlike this soulless junk. I'm hoping it'll do well enough that I can get my name out there, start building a reputation. This place isn't gonna be around much longer. I think even my boss has given up on trying to save it.
Save it? What's going to happen?
Shutting down because it's too expensive to keep running. The writing's on the wall.
Not profitable, I understand.
Seriously, there's a letter hanging in the break room saying that our time is running out. It's pretty morbid, actually.
This place sounds like a joy to work at.
It's pretty terrible, but there are a few perks.
She winks and Marina crinkles one of the bags she's holding.
Anyway, sorry to talk your ears off. Candy's on the house. My treat. Seriously?
Marina looks at me wide-eyed as if she scored the biggest jackpot in Vegas.
Yeah, it's not like anyone will ever notice. We'd just be bagging it up and tossing it out in a bit anyway. Okay, wow, if you'll excuse me, I'll just be dying of happiness over here.
Look at Marina's face.
Don't get more than you can carry back to the car.
You have 2 free hands, don't you?
You've got me there. I can carry some.
It's not that far to walk anyway. Marina hurries off to fill her stash as Cassie starts to retreat back through the kitchen door.
I gotta get back to work. I already know I'm gonna be coming in early to finish up. You should come by my booth tomorrow, if you get a chance.
Sure, we'll swing by. Least we can do to say thanks.
With a final wave, Cassie disappears back into the kitchen. I watch the door as it slowly stops swaying. Actually, maybe there is a better way to show our gratitude. I go over and find Marina, who's just tying a bag shut.
Hey, I had an idea. What if we came back tomorrow morning to help Cassie make sweets? It seems like she's pretty overwhelmed.
Wow, that's like incredibly generous, surprisingly so. Suspiciously so, one might say. Amber, you floozy. Obviously, nothing's happened yet, but you know that's exactly where Marina's gonna emotionally go with that. You realize that, right? See? What the flip did I just say?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
It's just unlike you. Really unlike you.
What is?
Offering to help someone out like that. You don't like most people, remember?
Well, Cassie seems alright. Besides, she's giving you your weight's worth in candy.
She's giving us my weight's worth in candy. But I guess you're right. Well, what about the con?
We'll still go to that, of course. She has to be there too, you know. It'd just be the morning.
Marina looks down at the heavy bag she's carrying.
It is a lot of candy, huh?
She scuffs her shoes against the floor, looking thoughtful. I expected an instant enthusiastic agreement from her.
I'm fine with it, I guess.
You guess?
It's fine, Amber.
Okay, I'll go let her know.
God, every interaction with these two, it's so stressful. Like, both of them. What is wrong with you two? Just talk about it. I leave Marina again and go knock on the kitchen door. A few seconds later, Cassie opens it.
Hey, back again?
I'm still here, actually. Marina and I were thinking we could come help you out tomorrow morning, if you want. You said you had a lot to do, and we owe you for the candy anyway.
Cassie looks stunned and shakes her head.
If you're sure, then yeah, that'd be a huge help. Just having the company would be nice on its own. Store's technically closed tomorrow, but I'll be here anyway. Just knock and I'll let you in.
Will do. See you then.
See you. And for real, thanks. You guys are lifesavers.
Cassie disappears into the kitchen for a final time, and I join back up with Marina. She's carrying 4 full bags that look full to bursting and hands me 2 of them.
So, tomorrow then?
Yep, tomorrow. She said to just knock when we get here.
Alright.
I still expected more hype from Marina than she's shown. Maybe she's just not looking forward to waking up early.
Got everything you want?
Yep. I think I should be set for candy for at least the rest of the year.
Then what do you say we drop this off at the hotel and grab dinner?
Sure. Where are we going to eat?
I've got someplace in mind. I think you'll like it.
Freaking yikes, dude. They just need to talk about things, man. They just like everything has this underlying current of stress and double meaning. Just like, God, man, I absolutely know there's gonna be something really, really, really stressful coming up. I don't, obviously never played this before, but I'm just saying that, like, I can feel it in my gut that they're gonna have a huge, giant confrontation fighting blowout here, and it's gonna be bad because there has to be some sort of dip in the fun. You know, there has to be some sort of event you have to work past emotionally, otherwise is it even a game, you know? Anyway, I'm just saying it's gonna be rough. Anyway, we head back to the hotel to jump off the candy and freshen up before heading out for dinner. I use my vague knowledge of where landmarks are, relative to each other, to guide us to our ultimate destination, the Mgm Grand Casino. It takes a little over an hour to get there, although a good chunk of that comes from Marina's multiple detours into the shops that interest her. 6 months ago, all this walking would have killed me. But now, after our multitude of hikes, it really doesn't faze me. Marina reads the name overhead as we step inside. It takes her a moment, but then her eyes go wide.
Amber, is this the place with the lions?
It used to be. They shut down that exhibit a few years ago, though.
The disappointment on Marina's face is so profound, I almost regret bringing her here.
Come on. Where we're going has something almost as good.
As good as lions? I doubt it.
You'd be surprised. Besides, don't I always pull through when I promise something?
Well, I guess you have a point.
She wraps her arm around mine, nestling her head close to me. It makes it a little tough to walk, but I'm really glad I will gladly take that trade-off.
I can't believe Las Vegas isn't that big to you. I'm pretty sure there's more people in this one building right now than my whole hometown.
I think that says more about New Mexico than Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, probably.
I guide Marina in the right direction, with her sticking to me whenever I make a turn. There are occasional signs instructing us on where we're going, but so far Marina hasn't caught on. Finally, we start to see some signs that we're in the right place. The decoration turns from generic palace to artificial trees and wood, and the sound of cawing birds and chirping monkeys plays over the speakers. As the restaurant's name and logo looms over us, Marina slides off me to gape.
Amber, you were right.
Cool. The Rainforest Cafe. The name tells you everything you need to know about it. Fake trees crowd the area, covered in realistic-looking leaves. Ambient lighting ambient lights up high make it a decent replica of a rainforest canopy, and there's even a projected sky complete with a nice full moon. Honestly, it's pretty hokey, but in an endearing way, even I have to admit.
Come on, I'm starving.
I have to drag Marina away by the hand from a oversized gift shop, whose size rivals the restaurant part of the building itself. Our waitress seats us quickly, and Marina orders a cola while I request my casual black coffee.
Coffee? Isn't it almost your bedtime?
I don't even notice the caffeine. I just like the taste.
That's like me and Rockstars. I barely register the caffeine. It's just good tasting. I notice if I miss it though. I tell you that. I miss my daily Rockstar. My brain's like shutting down. I'm like, all right, neat, cool.
Besides, how can I sleep when I'm so excited for tomorrow?
You could at least pretend, you know.
I am pretending.
That one gives me a well-deserved but gentle kick in the shin.
Could have fooled me.
I lay my hand on top of Marina's, which had just been resting by her already half-empty drink.
I am looking forward to it. For real. I know you're excited about it, so I need to.
That's the spirit, Amber. Good girl. Marina nods, but it's clearly half-hearted. I opt to change the subject.
So, spot any lions yet?
She blinks twice, fast, like I interrupted her from some deep thought.
Look around.
So far, Marina hasn't even noticed the best part of the restaurant's theming and the main reason I brought her here. She looks around, somewhat glazed over, before she notices an animatronic monkey scurrying along a branch. Then the light comes back in her eyes when she notices more and more.
Oh, look.
She can't help but lunge across the table to point at a giant parrot that's flapping its wings and rocking on its perch. It's just like when she tried to give me driving directions. She can't help but get 100% into it.
Check out the elephant over there.
Directly behind her and several meters away, a realistic-looking elephant is trumpeting silently. It looks like it might be life-sized.
Okay, this is pretty cool.
Told ya. a bit. Every so often, there's a little show.
Do you think they'd let us move tables to get a better view?
For real?
Marina shrugs.
We could?
I want to tell her that we probably shouldn't. There's probably some complicated system that they have to keep track of how many people are sitting at each table. But then I think of her pulling her hand away and realizing what a dumb thing it is to worry about.
Sure, why not?
We grab our drinks and scurry like a monkey to a branch over to a different table, more in the middle of things. Our new spot is right behind some fancy flowers and equally fancy butterflies. Marina laughs to herself as we settle into our seats.
What's so funny?
I was just thinking of that time we snuck into the Mummy Cave ruins. It kind of felt the same way.
I have to wonder how boring Marina's childhood must have been for her to compare the two.
I don't think they'd arrest us for changing tables in the Rainforest Cafe.
Instead of laughing, Marina's face goes white.
Do you seriously think we could have gone to jail?
For trespassing on a protected site like that? Yeah, probably. All it takes is a single park ranger on a power trip and we'd have been toast.
You never said that!
Well, it turned out alright, didn't it?
Marina smiles.
Yeah, I'd say it did.
She looks away from me, towards the ferns and artificial jungle rocks.
I think that was the night I started to fall in love with you.
My heart pangs. Even after months, it feels weird to hear someone talk about me so affectionately. Like, oh yeah, she's referring to you. She thinks you're worth loving.
Really?
And yet, that's all I'm able to croak out. Fortunately, Marina doesn't seem to mind.
Yeah, it was, how do I say this?
Say it however. I'll know what you mean.
It's such a you thing to say.
Before I can open my mouth to defend myself, Marina shushes me with a finger over my lips.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Anyway, before that, I had kind of felt like you were just putting up with me. Like, you didn't really like me and just felt bad for me. But that night, I knew I was wrong. That you were someone special. And I kind of realized that you were what I had been looking for without knowing it. Someone that made me feel special too. So I didn't care about not finding the treasure. I was happy for totally different reasons.
When I think back to then, I feel like it has well been another life. I always thought that people saying they didn't really know how they lived without their partners was melodramatic, but now I think it might be true.
Do you remember after we left? And laid the table?
Yeah, I do. I think of it almost every time I hear it now.
Me too.
Marina reaches across the table, and I take her outstretched hand. With a roar, a animatronic gorilla near our table comes lunging out of the shadows, the tinny recording overpowering what I was about to say. Thunder booms overhead, pumped out of the loudspeakers as the whole fake rainforest comes to life. Loud bird calls echo from one side of the restaurant to another, interrupting every conversation. Above us, the butterflies rustle the flowers. All of the different electronic animals come to life at once, just like I told Marina they would. Although it could have happened at a better time. Still, it gets the reaction I'd hoped for from Marina. She looks so enchanted, as if she'd rolled out of an actual zoo full of live animals. The show is short, less than a minute total, but it ends with her beaming.
Okay, that was as good as lions.
Told ya.
Our meal comes out soon and are pretty good, but it's the dessert that I sneakily order while Marina's in the bathroom that I'm most looking forward to. Oh, Marina's thoughts. Check this item out in the gallery. I love the little cute icon, by the way. When that arrives, Marina's eyes bug out as much as when the moving animals first started. The desert is a monument to excess. The dessert, not desert, sorry. Several chocolate brownies lean against a vanilla ice cream core. On top is a mess of whipped cream, plus chocolate and caramel, or caramel, depending on however you want to say that, sauces. That looks like a heart attack. The centerpiece, though, is a flickering sparkler, just like the kind kids wave around on the 4th of July. Or other people, too. You don't have to be a kid to wave a sparkler on the 4th of July, okay? Anyway, sorry. Stupid thing to get fired up about. It's stabbed into the middle, poking out of the top like a flag.
Volcano!
The waitress tries to sound enthusiastic as she sets our dessert down in front of us.
With 2 spoons.
Marina takes one of them and searches for a point of attack.
It's huge. I don't even know how to eat this.
Start with one of the brownies.
She scoops up a bite that has ice cream and whipped cream included. She practically unhinges her jaw to make it all fit, but manages.
Good.
Amazing.
We both take care to avoid the sparkler, which has more or less stopped sparkling.
Have I ever told you that I'm afraid of volcanoes? When I was a little kid, I thought they were gonna be a way bigger problem in my
Man,
life.
there's so many things in life that you think that as a kid, you know? Like quicksand. You just, like, severely overestimate the quicksand and its difficulties in average life, you know? Never even seen quicksand in real life.
But they still kind of freak me out.
How come? They're just mountains, basically.
Yeah, mountains that breathe fire.
I'll cross them off our list of places to visit sometime.
You're a sweetheart.
Between the two of us, we managed to finish about half of the mountain in front of us. The other half remains on a plate, getting progressively soggier as the ice cream melts.
Wanna get it to go?
I kind of do, but there's so much sugar waiting for me already that we probably shouldn't.
We make the difficult decision to leave it behind, but I'm pretty sure I catch Marina casting a few regretful looks as we leave. When we finally get back to the hotel, it's even busier than when we left. Most of these slot machines are full, and the air is heavy with the smell of cigarette smoke. Marina makes a face as we hurry to the elevator and up to our room. Really quick, though, before we dive into this. So, recently, I have finally, obviously on my channel, I have finally dived into putting up games that have some NSFW stuff in them. Fun fact, the original Highway Blossoms had NSFW stuff in them if you get the patch, which of course I did. And I think it was, or was it a DLC you bought that included it? I don't remember how it happened, but either way I had access to it. Now, in the original playthrough, I straight up cut it out because at the time I was using Windows Movie Maker, and you can't put picture-in-picture, so I had no way of actually censoring anything but keeping it in. My new editor, it's a lot smarter, and I am barely smart enough to use it, but I can do light editing, as you've seen in the last couple of games I did. In some games I've done recently, I had to do some editing, namely Far Cry 3. This obviously being a visual novel, editing this one will be way simpler than editing a moving image. So it's a lot different. But this time, obviously, because now that I use a very different editor than I used to, there's a pretty good shot I could keep it in, even despite if there is NSFW or not, I can keep it in and I can just put up my stretched logo over the top of it. So anyway, so we're totally all is good in the hood, but it is different. So you might get to see something that you maybe didn't get to see before. So, you know, fun for you. Marina makes a face as we hurry to the elevator and up to our room. Inside, I kick off my shoes and collapse onto the bed, worn out from all the walking.
I'm gonna take a shower, unless you want to first.
Go for it.
While she steps into the bathroom, I just stare up at the ceiling. I've been either driving or walking all day. Some folks don't understand how a long road trip can tire you out, but it's exhausting. It actually is, though. Driving a long time, you really just feel wiped, even though all you did was drive, you know? Even I still feel it sometimes, like today. In the bathroom, there's a loud thump, followed by Marina's pitiful whine. You just distantly just hear an Amber.
Which faucet do I use?
Do you need me?
Wait, no, I got it.
The sound of running water starts.
It's way too hot.
You good in there?
I'm good.
After a minute, without any more yelps of pain, I figure Marina's got it under control. When she starts singing in the shower shortly after, I know it for a fact. That's adorable. I just lie in bed listening to the noises of the city. Besides Marina in the bathroom, there's a dull thump of our neighbors in the other rooms, as well as the honking of horns and squeal of brakes that floats up from down below. Every so often, there's a sound of whoops and cheers from one of the theme park rides as it whooshes overhead. Since our room is on one of the highest floors, we're some of the closest to the action. I hope it doesn't go all night and keep me awake. Eventually, Marina comes out of the bathroom with a puff of steam. She's carrying her day clothes in a bundle and has changed into her pajamas. Her hair is down and wet.
How's the bed?
I slap it a couple times to demonstrate its firmness.
It's alright. Not as comfy as the bed in the RV.
We've got totally different ideas of what comfy means, don't we?
Aw, that's so cute! She flops backwards onto the bed beside me, causing the sheets to poof up. Then she rolls back and forth, her wet hair slapping me in the face.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. This is amazing.
I like my back support from a good firm mattress. This is like sleeping on a waterbed or something.
Marina snuggles in close to me, throwing one arm across my chest in a half hug and resting her cheek against my shoulder.
I know. Like I said, amazing.
I put my own arm around her in turn, holding her close. She smells like a complimentary soap and shampoo in the bathroom, rather than her typical fruity scent.
Ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't wait to see Tess. You?
Should be a good time.
You'd better have fun.
Or else what?
Or else I'll be sad. You don't want that, right?
Duh, of course not.
Good.
From above and outside, there's the screams and the roar of the amusement park rides again.
What was that?
People on the roller coaster up top, probably.
Marina pushes herself up.
Wait, there's a roller coaster?
Can you imagine anything more horrifying than being on a roller coaster that's like, 120 stories in the air? Like, ew.
Yeah, there's a few rides.
This changes everything.
What do you mean?
Marina grabs her phone from the bedside table where... Oh, look, more thoughts updated. Marina grabs her phone from the bedside table where she left before... Probably where she left it, I imagine. Before climbing in next to me again.
I didn't know they had rides here. We totally have to go. Look at these!
She turns her phone screen towards me, and I can see a small collage of the rides of the summit.
Oh, what's this one? The Big Shot.
She taps an icon and a short video plays, showing a number of people strapped into a harness. Then the platform they're on drops really fast, the screams on the recording sounding similar to the ones we've been hearing outside.
Have fun with that.
Oh, we will.
We? Sorry, count me out.
Oh, Amber. Are you scared?
I'm not scared. I just don't like those kinds of
Because
rides.
she's scared.
Have you ever even been on one?
Sure. Long time ago.
Maybe you'll like them now.
Got it.
She lightly punches me on the shoulder while tossing her phone back onto the table.
Uh-huh. I guess I'll just have to change your mind then.
I'm gonna go with Tess instead.
Because I want to go with you. Duh. Plus, don't you have to be a certain age or height to go on those things?
Do you? News to me.
She just sighs.
I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Sure.
There's nothing to figure out, but I don't want to keep arguing with Marina and spoil the mood. Instead, I turn on the TV, letting Marina pick the channel, and we watch cartoons for a while, still cuddled close together. That's adorable. Despite the odd tension floating around. After a while, as the credits for another episode start to roll, I poke Marina on the shoulder.
Hey, babe. It's getting late. I'm gonna call it a night.
No response. I contort my neck at an awkward angle to be able to look at Marina and see that she's already fast asleep. I can't help but smile. Turning off the TV, I pull the covers up and over us. Marina's breathing shifts slightly, but she doesn't wake up. One of her hands clutches at my shirt like a kid holding their favorite blanket.
Love you too.
Aww, that's adorable! I whisper the words into the quiet night before switching off the lights and drifting off to sleep as well. Hey, we're back to the trio. The air was abuzz with excitement. The probably frantic? Frenetic? I don't know. The frenetic? The music that blasted from the loudspeakers was drowned out by all the conversation. Boxes slammed, booze scraped, burglars sizzled. Like burglars! Who's getting robbed? Burgers, sorry, like the food, burgers, sizzled as merriment ensued. I was like, someone's getting robbed! And they're torturing the poor burglars. They're getting sizzled, man. That's horrible, man. That's so brutal for just like average civilians. From corner to corner, nearly every inch of free space was covered with someone's... Sorry, I'm still laughing. That's really funny. From someone selling something. An assortment of booths offered plushies, shirts, keychains, and all manner of touristy crap. Large signboards used bright colors, big pictures, and small words to list the locations and topics of several panels. our alien overlords and you, how to survive in a post-occupation world. I'm not saying it was aliens, live in concert, the crop circles. Hanging banners pointed the way to other attractions like the swap meet and game hall. Near the front of the entrance, the trio had just arrived. Her hands on her hips, Mariah surveyed the area like a pirate captain scanning the seas. All around, dumb schmucks ripe for the swindling went about their business completely indifferent. Besides her, Tess stared out into the ocean of faces, hoping to see Marina's familiar bright one. But no, they were more like gloomy gray clouds, she decided. Joe watched it all happen.
What do you want to see first?
He'd been directing the question at Tess, but it was Mariah who answered.
What do you think? We're gonna head to the swap meet, like we decided. That's where all the suckers will be at.
Makes sense that you head there first, then.
You're damn right it does. What? You think you've got a better idea floating in that head of yours?
I'd most have been asking a kid who wanted to be here. You know, the one who clearly needs some cheering up.
Fine. Hey kid, you wanna go to the swap meet?
Tess shrugged. She didn't particularly feel like going to the swap meet, but she didn't feel like doing anything else either. More than anything, she felt tired. It wasn't the kind of tired where you need to sleep more. It was more like the kind of tired where you just don't want to get out of bed. Yeah, depression is what that's called.
See? She likes the idea.
Yeah, depression is what that's called, and honestly, same, Tess. Frickin' same. Gripping her sister's shoulder like a rag doll, Mariah started to drag Tess off towards the swap meet. Joe held out an arm to stop her.
Why don't you go handle this one on your own? I'll take Tess and go do something fun.
Fun? Fun? What's the use of fun? Can't pay for shit with fun.
You can't pay anything. You waste all your money gambling. But that's never stopped.
Like how Tess just loiters off the screen.
Well, if somebody would count the cards like they're supposed to, then it wouldn't be such a waste.
Tell you what, I'll give you $10. Surely that's got to be enough to get you started, right?
$10? I couldn't blow my nose with $10.
Fine, 20.
Mariah eyed him slyly, calculating just how far she could push Joe's generosity and patience. Finally, she held out a hand. Joe slid a crisp $20 bill from his wallet and passed it to Mariah, who sniffed it, licked it once to be sure, and then pocketed it.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Mariah just growled in response, not having a comeback, but not wanting Joe to get the last word in. Like a cat fallen from the banister, she sauntered away with the illusion of dignity. She had a plan. Of course, it wasn't one she could admit to Joe. He would think she'd gone soft if he knew she was worried about Tess. But after reading the messages her sister was sending, it was Mariah's phone after all, she knew that something had to be done. Well, that's oddly caring. That was why she'd agreed to come to this stupid alien convention anyway, because Tess wanted to, even though anyone with half a brain knew that the supernatural convention down at the Excalibur would be way more lucrative. The cash she had would be more than enough to find a gift for Tess, and if she was savvy, she could talk her way into a discount. There should be plenty left over for her to spend on herself, too. Wow, that's surprisingly caring. Once Mariah left and he was finally granted some peace, Joe knelt down so he was closer to Tess's eye level.
Alright, kiddo, let's try that again. The convention is your oyster. What do you want to do?
Tess shrugged, more interested in the gum stuck on the ground near Joe's foot than any of her actual surroundings. It was stretched thin and gross, ignored unless it was causing someone a problem.
Text Marina, I guess.
That doesn't count. Something that isn't on your phone.
Her list of hobbies exhausted, Tess just stood and waited to be told what to do.
What about some of the games? Want to see if we could win you some sort of prize?
If you want.
Hey, it's not about what I want today. It's about you. What sounds fun?
When you're depressed, nothing, little tears. Tess thought long and hard. She couldn't come up with an answer.
Right. Games it is. Nothing gets the old dopamine pumping like some carnival games.
Joe didn't know if that was true, but he desperately hoped it was. Poor Joe, dude. He's like, how do I deal with a depressed child? The first game they stopped at was a test of strength. A big yellow pressure plate sat invitingly at the base of an illustrated tractor beam. At the top of the beam was a UFO, complete with flashing LED lights.
All right, this one's an old classic. Watch and learn. I'll get it warmed up for you.
With extra pomp, Joe rolled up his sleeves, flexed his arms, accepting a large mallet from the bored-looking college student running the game. He glanced down to make sure Tess was watching. She was, or at least she was staring in the general direction of the game, and then Joe swung. He put his back into it, his full body weight too. The mallet crashed against the pressure plate, illuminating the first in a trail of lights that ran all the way from the base to the UFO. The first one light turned yellow, then another, and then it stopped. After just 3 lights, it wasn't even a fifth of the way up board. "You're not even worth abducting," a scoreboard taunted.
Here's your prize, sir.
The attendant's voice couldn't have been more flat or boring. He offered Joe a basket of aluminum badges, each wearing a small illustration of a cartoon alien. Joe picked one at random and dropped it into his pocket.
Okay, your turn. Let's see what you've got.
Tess grasped the mallet, which was almost half her weight. She lifted it until it was just barely over her shoulders, and then brought it down, letting gravity do most of the work. The mallet clacked off the pressure plate as the light began to shriek upwards once again. It passed the first, then the second, then the third, quickly eclipsing Joe's score. It continued to climb and climb until it reached the apex. The UFO lit up, making a clattering and chiming sound in celebration. The person manning the game approached Tess, carrying an immense UFO-shaped pillow. It was almost as big as one of the tires of the RV.
Here's your prize, ma'am.
He sounded just as unimpressed as he had been by Joe's score.
Hey, great job.
Tess struggled to wrap her arms around her new prize as Joe clapped in support.
You did it. You hit the jackpot. How's it feel? Pretty good, right?
He tried not to let it bother him.
Sounds like we just haven't found the right game for you yet. Come on, let's try the next one.
Tess followed dutifully, clinging to the pillow that Joe had been so excited for her to win. Oh, poor Tess, dude. She speaks to my heart, man. My soul aches for Tess. Next, the person arrived at a decorated skee-ball machine, complete with crop circle theming around the goals.
Ever played one of these before? Do you know how it works?
Tess shook her head.
It's a real test of skill, not luck. Gotta focus for this one.
After the end of a long ramp, several slots were arranged across a backboard. Plastic corrals surrounded each hole with point values painted on.
Don't worry about aiming for the big money. Go for the easier shots that you know you can make.
Summarizing both his game plan and his life philosophy, Joe readied himself for the game to begin. 5 plastic balls were dispensed near his hand, and he picked one up, getting a feel for the weight. With a bowler's dramatic flourish, he sent the first ball careening up the ramp. It bounced off the lip, nearly landing in the 30-point zone, but instead bouncing back into the 10-pointer.
Dang, close one.
Both of Joe's next throws missed, while the 4th one landed in a 20-point zone.
Alright, it's the last one. Need at least 20 more points to win a prize. Think you can cheer me on?
How do I do that?
Whatever feels right to you, kiddo.
She thought about it for a moment, then Tess stepped forward and awkwardly reached up to pat Joe's shoulder twice.
Good luck.
Jerry stared down at the 20-point hole, channeling all of his focus and concentration. He pictured a crosshair in his mind, pinpointing the exact spot the ball needed to land. He stepped back, practicing the shot a couple times, and with a solemn nod, he stepped forward and threw. The ball went wide, missing the target by a number of inches, and instead rolling into the 10-point zone. A series of red lights and disappointed trombone music reminded them that 40 points was not enough to qualify for a prize.
Well, you can't win them all.
Sorry. That's some bad luck.
No!
He struggled once again to think of something mature and adult-like to say, but what could you say to a kid who was having such unkid-like thoughts?
Why don't you give this one a shot? Here, I'll hold that.
After accepting the UFO plushie, he ushered Tess toward the game. She stared up at the target area. Since Joe wanted her to try, she would try. Without bothering to feel like Joe did, Tess made her first shot. The ball whizzed over the ramp and sank neatly into the 20-point zone.
Nice going.
Shot 2 landed in the 10-pointer. Shot 3 was another 20. Even though shot 4 was a miss, Tess was guaranteed a prize. On shot 5, Joe came to stand behind her, crouching down to see the game from Tess's level.
Alright, last shot. You can go for something safe, like another 10 points, or you can aim big, try to double your score. What's it gonna be?
Tess threw the ball, not caring too much about where it landed. The ball sailed over and crackled against the 50-point, but didn't make it in. It ran down between two other slots and finally disappeared into the 40-point hole.
Woo! Go Tess!
Once again, Joe whooped and hollered in celebration, trying to have enough enthusiasm for the two of them. But after Tess had accepted her prize, a t-shirt that was 3 sizes too big for her, she didn't look any happier.
What about now? Heart racing, blood boiling?
Still not determined to give in. Still determined to not give in is what that's supposed to say, sorry. Joe led them on to the next game. Because otherwise he's determined not to... Sorry, Joe. But otherwise it would be saying he's determined not to care, which is obviously not it, right? Anyway, now this is what Joseph said. Sorry, Joe.
This is sure to make you really feel alive.
It was a shooting range game with a small laser gun attached to a tether. Several feet away, cardboard aliens that were varying degrees of grotesque would pop up with targets stamped across them.
Easy as pie. Aim.
Joe closed one eye and raised the gun up so as he leveled it at the target.
Wait for it.
On one of the high-value cutouts, an especially hideous thing with purple skin and horns and tentacles was due to pop up any second. The moment it reared its ugly head, Joe pulled the trigger. Just a second later, it disappeared again, Joe's shot having gone wide and missed. Sighing, he placed the gun back in its holster.
Well, I was never much good at these. But I bet you can step up there and show an old geezer like me how it's done, right?
Wordlessly, Tess stepped forward and readied the toy gun. When the targets first started to move, she began firing lazily, her motion shaky and random. But as fate would have it, her shots were finding their marks. Not everyone landed, but many did. With each hit, there was an accompanying sound effect to add to the hype. Well, if there had been any hype to begin with. Oh no. Tess fired with a cold indifference of a hardened criminal until the timer ran out. She didn't even bother to check the score and simply accepted the prize that was thrust upon her, ready to be forgotten. Joe extended a hand, offering to carry some of the burden. He loaded the UFO plushie from the first game up onto his shoulder, giving Tess an easier time. She's like, I'm so depressed. The two of them headed away from the shooting range, finding a spot to sit down near an empty stairway. Joe poked the prize in Tess's arms to get her attention.
I reckon you've got one of the best records of anyone here at this con. If your sister were around, I'm sure she'd be chomping at the bit to find a way to make some money off of that. What about you, though? Did you have a good time?
Tess was quiet for a long moment, which Joe took as a good sign. If she had to think about it, then the answer couldn't have been an easy no. Then she pulled out her cell phone, staring down at the blank screen as if it might have better news, maybe a message from Marina. Nothing. Had Marina forgotten about her after all? The girl staring back at her from the pristine glass looked like a stranger.
Other people are having fun. You're having fun. Why can't I have fun too?
The quiet solemnity of Tess's question took Joe off guard, even though he knew he should be used to it by now.
Well, that's because...
He racked his brain, hoping to stumble across something poignant to say.
There's something wrong with me, isn't there?
It wasn't even a question, just a statement. Joe sighed and just put what he hoped for what was a comforting arm around Tess's shoulders. This was going to be harder than he thought. Oh, poor Joe. Poor Joe. Here's the thing, I gotta end the episode. We're 2 hours in. I gotta end the episode, so... Oh man, that's the problem though. I just want to keep playing. Alright, holy crap, what's happening here? Save. Gotta say though, loving the whole tape player theme going on. Love that quite a bit. Save. Is this when I did it for fun and this when we did it for YouTube? Why is it here? If that's true, why do I have a save up here and a save over here? That's just weird. Alright, well, let's just complete the trifecta. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. That's lovely. Anyway, save. We'll write your save. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so that'll be a fantastic place to call it. This is the problem with doing something blind. All I want to do is keep playing. I want to know what happens. But the thing is, it's 8:45. I have to edit still. I have 2 videos to edit. Then there's all the saving and uploading time, so we're probably looking at like 11 o'clock. I mean, maybe not, give or take. It depends on uploads, and I mean, the bigger, you know, it just takes time to go through and edit all the stuff I do. So I have to edit 2 videos, and then I have to make dinner, and then I mean, there's stuff to do. And, like, I just want to keep going, but I can't. I can't. Sad face. Anyway, so unfortunately, I gotta call the episode here. But alas, I am having a blast with this. I love Tess. I super identify with Tess to a maybe unhealthy degree. And I'm curious about Amber and Marina. Like, really would love for them to, like, iron things out a little bit better, you know? Like, I feel like they need to talk about things. And I really want Tess to, like, be happy. And, like, you know, I really want her to find the emotional help she needs, because she does need help. And I really would love for maybe Mariah to learn a lesson or two, possibly. I love Joe. He's super awesome. So anyway, I am beyond excited for what's happening with us with this, and I cannot wait to play. I will be counting the minutes. Yeah, I'll be counting the minutes. You can believe me on that one. But anyway, tomorrow is just Tuesday, nothing crazy. I do believe the upload should be regular. So yeah, I think that everything probably should be fine tomorrow. There is one small hiccup that might get in the way, depending on how plans develop. We will see. I'm hoping it won't get in the way, and I'm hoping I can just, you know, keep on trucking with I think it's 32 of Fallout 4, and then it'll be part 2 of this. And I don't know how long this is. I don't know how many parts this will be, but I don't imagine it'll be super long. But we're just kind of seeing what happens. But no matter how long it is, I'm in for the duration, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, that is going to call for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.